Have you ever wondered if the prophets of the Bible were simply speaking in symbols? Or could they have been describing encounters with beings from another world? What if I told you that the prophet Isaiah, one of the most revered figures in Scripture, described something eerily similar to an extraterrestrial visit? Could his vision of fiery chariots and celestial lights be pointing us to an advanced civilization beyond our planet? In Isaiah 66:15-16, we read, "For behold, the Lord will come in fire, and his chariots like the whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire." These words are often interpreted as divine imagery, fiery judgment, and the return of God's power. But what if these words describe something else entirely? Could Isaiah, in his ancient language, have been describing a visit from a race of beings who arrived in chariots of fire, shining lights from the sky, much like what we now understand as UFOs or extraterrestrial technology? Let's dive deeper. In this passage, Isaiah speaks of chariots and whirlwind. While we have traditionally understood these as symbolic, many have questioned whether these descriptions were rooted in something more literal. The ancient Hebrews, after all, had no concept of spacecraft or high-speed technology. But what if they were describing the arrival of beings from beyond the earth, using language that was familiar to them, but which we now recognize as describing something completely different? Isaiah wasn't the only one. In Ezekiel Fund, we find a similarly mysterious vision, one that has baffled scholars for centuries. Ezekiel sees a great cloud with fire flashing forth continually, and a brightness around it, and in the midst of the fire, as it were, the likeness of 4 living creatures. The description of these living creatures, and the wheels within wheels, evokes an image that modern readers often associate with UFO sighting. In fact, some have speculated that Ezekiel's vision could have been a description of an extraterrestrial encounter, much like Isaiah's. But why have so many missed this? What if both Ezekiel and Isaiah were not merely speaking in metaphor, but were actually recording real encounters with beings or objects from the heavens? Could it be that the chariots they described were more than just divine symbols? What if they were technological vehicles sent by advanced beings who had the power to travel across the stars? After all, the descriptions of bright, shining lights, fiery chariots, and beings from the sky are strikingly similar to modern-day accounts of UFOs. And Isaiah's reference to the whirlwind could easily be interpreted as the spinning, rotating motion of a spacecraft. Think about it. The world Isaiah and Ezekiel lived in was vastly different from ours. To them, any celestial phenomenon, whether it was a comet, a meteor shower, or even a distant star, would be seen as a divine sign or an emissary from the heavens. Could these ancient prophets have been describing actual encounters with beings who had technology far beyond their understanding? Or could these descriptions be encoded messages, warning us of something beyond the veil of our earthly existence? Let's look at another fascinating detail from Isaiah's vision. He talks about the fire and the rebuke with flames of fire. Could this be a description of something like a high-powered energy beam or weapon? Something that could come from a craft of unknown origin? Ancient cultures around the world have similar stories of beings who descended from the sky in fiery chariots, leaving destruction and awe in their wake. Some of these accounts are remarkably similar to UFO sightings reported today, where witnesses describe glowing crafts that emit powerful lights or beams. Could the fire Isaiah spoke of be a reference to the technology these visitors wielded? Now, consider how we understand technology today. We've created spacecraft capable of reaching distant planets, but we still struggle with the concept of interdimensional travel, much less the ability to reach other galaxies. Yet, ancient prophets, like Isaiah and Ezekiel, seem to describe encounters that suggest a deep understanding of advanced technology. Could these prophets have been describing the visit of extraterrestrial beings who, with their advanced knowledge, left behind profound clues about the nature of creation and existence? It's tempting to dismiss these ancient prophecies as just flights of religious imagination. But consider this: throughout history, many civilizations have described similar gods or visitors coming from the sky. The ancient Egyptians spoke of gods descending in fiery chariots, and the Sumerians recorded stories of their gods arriving in crafts that glowed with fire. These accounts span cultures and time periods, yet they all seem to describe the same phenomenon: a visitation from beyond the stars. And here's the most intriguing question. Could these ancient accounts be prophecies of future contact with extraterrestrial civilization? Perhaps Isaiah and Ezekiel were not just recounting visions of the past, but glimpsing the future, when humanity will finally make contact with intelligent beings from other worlds. What if these encounters are not just about divine judgment, but are tied to a much larger cosmic order? Could these chariots of fire be signaling the arrival of a new era, one in which humanity will be forced to reckon with its place in the universe? As we ponder this, we must ask, what does this mean for us today? Could it be that the Bible, often regarded as the book of spiritual truths, is also a record of hidden knowledge? Could the prophecies of Isaiah and Ezekiel be telling us that we are not alone in the universe? And if we are not alone, what does that mean for our understanding of God, creation, and our place in the cosmos? Perhaps, in the not-so-distant future, we will find ourselves on the brink of a revelation that will shake humanity to its core, an encounter with beings who have been watching us from afar. What if the fire that Isaiah spoke of is not just a metaphor, but a literal truth, a sign of a civilization far more advanced than our own, waiting for the moment when we are ready to understand them? As we uncover the mysteries of the Bible, it's important to remain open to the possibility that these ancient texts hold far more than just spiritual guidance. Perhaps they are also prophetic records, telling us that the answers to our deepest questions are not just contained within the earthly realm, but in the stars themselves. Could Isaiah have known this all along? Could his prophecies be pointing to a future where humanity discovers its true place in the universe, among the stars, and beyond the veil of our earthly existence? Stay tuned, because this journey is just beginning. The secrets of the Bible may hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of life, the universe, and everything in between. Are you ready to explore them with us?